some questions to ask. And right now, I will call upon the 2 times CAF champions winner, played 129 matches for Bolton Wanderers. He is so good, they had to name him twice. Jay Jay Okocha.
Sanibona Maponya Mall. Niyaphila. All right, let's take this opportunity and welcome you. Remember, we are live on different platforms. I know for sure that Joseph FM is live on Facebook. And once again, thank you so much to Castrol for bringing us through. I mean, Jay, good to see you again, man.
Thank you. Good to be here too.
Good to be here. I love your T-shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I think after this, because I'm just in love with it, we can get a T-shirt from one of these stores, and we'll give it to you, and then you'll give me that one, right?
No problem. I'll think about it, though.
There you go. Jay, people don't know that you get to spend most of your time in South Africa. Why South Africa, though?
Well, first of all, I see myself as an African, and I love South Africa so much that I'm always here, and I feel at home here.
What do you make of this beautiful crowd here with us at Maponya this afternoon?
Oh, fantastic. I'll say thank you for coming out today. And of course, I'm so happy to be in Soweto. I think Soweto is heart of football in South Africa.
Talking about Soweto football, I mean, you've got some friends here in South Africa, especially within the football. I mean, your Benny McCarthy's, your Lucas Radebes, and a whole lot of legends that come through from this country. But you being with this beautiful trophy, I'm sure it brings back some memories with you. You might have touched it before, you might have not touched it before. But let's look at the current season before we go any further. These colors, for me, I mean, one of the Manchester City fans came to me and said, "You're already giving it to Manchester City." It's so tight. He was an Arsenal fan, by the way.
Well, I think the colors are still on it because they are still the current champion. And not until the end of the season, then it will determine who or which colors will be on it. But for now, I think because they are still the current champions, that's why their colors are not on it.
I'm so happy and so fortunate that I've seen you play. I've seen you play for the Super Eagles. I've seen you play football throughout your career. Because, I mean, yeah, we are both 16. I mean, yeah, we're same age group.
I'll be 17 next year.
Exactly. I'll be 18 next month. So it makes it easy for us. But I was looking at this young man juggling the ball here, and I'm thinking about the Jay Jay Okocha. Those of you who think that you've seen step overs, this is the king of step over all over the world. I'm sure you've heard that before. It's nothing new. But what makes you, Jay, to be so outstanding and unique that a big brand like Castrol says, out of all the billions of footballers in the world, will go with you? What do you think of this collaboration between you and them?
Well, I think we have something in common. You know, we're quick, we're precise, and we're skillful. You know, I think Castrol keeps your car in top shape. And I used to make sure that I keep defenders in top shape as well, you know, with my skills. So I think we've got a lot in common.
Which defender comes to mind?
No one.
Oh, come on. I'm looking at the team, the 96 team that you had in the World Cup. You remember the squad? I mean, Jay, you played with the biggest names in world football, not only in African football. I mean, your Babayaros, your Babangitas, you know, all of those guys that you played with. And looking at today's football, let's link South African, African, and European football. How much talent do you feel is going to reach the level that you guys reached?
Well, without any doubt, I think we will never lack talent in Africa. The only problem is our mentality, you know, because we are trying to copy the Europeans now and play European style of football. And I think we are losing our identity by doing that. You know, I'm one of those that really stick to African style of play, you know, and try to promote African football. Because at the end of the day, it is a game. In as much as it's a serious profession, it is a game. And I think I would like to see more of that African flair in recent football.
A few months ago, Nigeria-South Africa relationship was broken when Bafana, you know what I'm talking about, in the AFCON. We wanna apologize to our people for breaking our hearts. You owe it to us, but let's leave it for later. As well as last week, the Super Falcons did the same. But the rivalry between South Africa and Nigeria is a healthy one. It's such a beautiful thing. And hence you are made to come here and feel at home in South Africa. The growth of African football and the feed into the international structures of football. How do you see that coming, looking at the young boys that are going abroad?
Well, I think I would say that football needs those rivalries. Without it, it will be boring. And yes, I will apologize on behalf of
Got him.
of my people. But we're just trying to do our job. It's not personal. But I think South Africa in the past Nations Cup, I'm sorry, I have to take you back. They had such a great tournament. Also for the fact that most of their players are home-based players. So you have to give credit to the job that have been put in South African League. I think it's one of the best in Africa, if not
Absolutely.
the best in Africa. And I'm sorry, I know I'm in Soweto, but I'm a big fan now of Sundowns, because they are representing South Africa very well, and you want to identify with winners, and they're not being called the Brazilians for nothing. So I like watching Sundowns. I know my Kaiser Chiefs friends and Pirates will kill me after this, but I'm ready to die as well.
Are you saying Sundowns is as smooth as Castrol Oil?
They are as smooth as the best teams in the world. They are good to watch. And for me, why I mentioned that is that you can see that the future of South African football and African football is very bright.
You're on this beautiful tour with this beautiful trophy. I'm just curious about us as Africa, the love that we have for the EPL. I mean, you can ask any of the guys here to give you the league, the log standings and the teams as they go from number 1 to 10, maybe. They know them all by heart. The influence of EPL into our continent, what do you make of it?
Well, I think it's because football have no boundaries. I think football unites people, and we love beautiful football. And for me, EPL is the best league in the world at the moment. And of course, the fact that they are trying to reach out to the fans, give back to the fans, give them that sense of belonging, have the opportunity to take pictures or see the trophy that they support. I think we have to give a round of applause to Castrol for making it possible.
I mean, you've retired. You've been retired for quite a while now, but you still remain relevant. I mean, for this brand, Castrol, to come through and knock at your door and say, "Come work with us," that must be a big thing for you and Castrol as well. That two big brands of the world, they come together and represent one of the biggest trophies in world of football.
Well, yes, Castrol is a premium brand, and in the world of football as well. I think I'm a legend now, so the partnership is great. It's all about being the best in what you do, and making sure that whatever your profession is, you do it the right way.
You do it the right way. I'm sure we'll have some moments to take questions from the fans who are here before we take pictures with them. But as you work with the people of South Africa, taking this trophy to them, what are you expecting to see, and what have you seen so far?
Well, I must say that I'm delighted and excited about the turn up. But one thing I have to tell them is they should respect the rules. I'm not even allowed to touch it. This is the closest that I've come to it, even though I played more than 100 games in the Premier League, I'm still not allowed to touch it because I didn't win it. So let's respect that and enjoy it from far, take our pictures, and appreciate the champions.
The legend has spoken. So the rule is simple, guys. Let me just quickly pass it on to you. When you come here to take a picture, please do not touch the trophy. There's so many of us who wish to get as close as I am to it. I'm sure you can concur with me on this one, mate, that this is the closest one can get to this. I mean, even when it came out from the car into the building, you wouldn't get close to it. But am I not lucky, guys? I'm sure I am, right? You want to take this picture with the legend. You want to take this picture with the trophy. It's all going to happen. But if there's one thing that you must know about people of South Africa, they love football. People of Africa, they love football. Any other sporting code comes after football. But looking at the youth that we have that still know that there's a Jay Jay Okocha that once played for Bolton, that once has done so much in the world of football and still continues. What are you up
As an ambassador of the game, I do a lot of ambassadorial work. I travel a lot. I get to advertise football, and get kids interested in playing football. And of course, try to pass on the message, to give them that belief that anything is possible in life. If I can make it, they can make it as well, And I have my private businesses that I do as well, which I'm sorry I cannot reveal.
No, it's fine. I'm not sure whether we've got an extra mic for the Q&A because our people, I'm sure definitely they want to ask a few questions to the legend, and the legend is here with us, and he's going to have such fun with us because we are a fun nation, and you know that for sure. But looking at the things now, let's bring it home to the continent. The CAF Champions League is here. The AFCON just went past. We're looking into the next one. What do you make of the Nigerian squad that played in the previous edition?
Well, I think we did very well. I think we also struggled a bit in the past few years. But I think we're on our way in getting to where we believe we belong to. And of course, the same thing goes with South Africa as well. I think they had a great tournament, and they look like they are back also to where they belong to.
I mean, I'm looking at the young squad that you have. I mean, what can be said without mentioning Osimhen in the Nigerian squad? He became one of the crowd favorites in South Africa, even though we might have lost to South Africa, but he became a big star. Do you ever have time to talk to these young stars and tell them about the history of this Nigerian squad?
Oh, yes. I mean, I was with them throughout their stay in Ivory Coast, and I had the opportunity to speak to them even before every game, And I think what makes somebody like Osimhen stands out is his commitment, and sometimes that's all we ask for as a nation, players to show commitment. And I think, he's a dedicated, African player.
More than you were?
And I don't think so.
You lived, ate, dreamt, and wore football. I mean, what's your fondest memories playing in the English Premiership?
I think I was having fun when playing. I was so comfortable on the pitch, and that used to be my playground. Sometimes I forget about the result and try to have fun, but I think also it is a serious profession, but it's always good to give fans, something to go home to.
I wonder if there's these people who are here have ever seen you play. Has anyone seen him play?
Social media, YouTube now.
Yeah, has anyone seen him play? Like, not in a live situation, because I was fortunate to see you in one of the World Cups playing. I mean, I've followed your career through and through. I mean, thoroughly so. This for me is a milestone. I've always said this, that for you to be part of the history, you must do good, and the good will come back to you. Today, you bring us this trophy with Castrol, and you are here in Soweto with us. Kungaba njani simambiseni siyodla ikota namagwinya madoda eh? Kunganjani madoda sambeni nje siyodla ikota namagwinya.
I hope I'm safe.
You are loved. No. I mean, when I went to Nigeria, the first meal that I was introduced to was jollof. I had jollof, and I went with the guys throughout the night. In Nigeria, I'm telling them while I'm talking to you. Nigeria, Nigerians don't sleep. That's what I'm telling them. Ungafike Lagos, it's a city that doesn't sleep. First thing that they introduce you is the food. And here in South Africa, beautiful food as well. I'm sure you've picked that up. If there was time, we would go and have something that we call a kota.
I've had pap as well.
Oh, nazo. Apa mangam. But with your stay throughout your days coming to South Africa through the years, I'm sure you've picked this place and made it a home, and you won't mind being one of us, right?
No, definitely. I think the only thing that is missing is the passport.
Oh,
but I feel so much at home here.
Don't worry, there's a home affairs here just around the corner. We'll get that sorted. Now, in Soweto, there's informal business and formal businesses, right? Now, motor mechanics are over the place. I'm a motor mechanic. Tell me which oil I should use and why I should use it. If maybe I decide to go to Prasem under the tree, my car needs oil change.
Of course, Castrol. And I think, as you can see, the GTS is my favorite. So if you want your car to stay top shape, of course, the only oil to use is Castrol GTS.
What if I said I'm magnetic? What would you say? I mean, for me, my car, I would say I prefer magnetic on it.
Well, it works as well. It's your preference. I mean, it's all about premium.
He spoke like a striker, an attacker, a midfielder. He wants to score one against me, but there's no way you're going to do that here. Let's give it up for him, please. His name is Jay Jay Okocha. Do we have a runner with the mic? Then we can take a few questions for the legend. There we go. Okay, let's start with my brother here in media. Any members of the media in here? Okay, let's go. Your question to the legend.
JJ, good to see you again. We had some fun 14 years ago during the South African World Cup. And I remember we were at an exhibition in Joburg around that time, just some years after your years playing for PSG with the likes of Nicola Anelka. And you've also turned out for Bolton Wanderers. This iteration of the EPL is a very tight one, a 3-horse race. Who do you think will just manage to get over the line, the finish line?
Well, I think for the fans, it's great to see 3 clubs competing for it. It is very tight. And I mean, the beauty of football is that sometimes it's hard to predict, where it will go. So I'll leave my cards open. I believe that three of them are.
You got dribbled again.
Are capable of winning it. It's all about who can manage the pressure better. So I think it's still very open.
Trust me, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm not part of that conversation. Just for me to declare, I'm a Chelsea fan. All I have is my memorabilia that I got from Stamford Bridge. But as for the current season, I'm not part of it.
Do you actually have are you a fan of any of the EPL teams?
I'm a fan of the league.
He's a fan of, we're not going to win this one, right? Another step over. Let's give it up for our legend here. JJ, the love that you continue to get from the masses of South Africa says that you've done something that resonates to the style of football that we play here. With the players like your Dr. Kumalos, the late Shoes Musheus. Those are the people who were dazzling like yourselves back then when we would have Bafana versus Super Eagles. Football.
Forgot Tepe as well.
Yeah, exactly. You see, he knows these people that I'm talking about, and he's been part of South African football culture. He knows it very well. But what do you make of the the lack of dribbling, of wizardry that you guys had in your day, that now, even here in South Africa, coaches says, let's play direct football, down the line, throw in a square, a header comes in, instead of saying, dribble them, have a step over. I mean, JJ, do your thing. The game is now on your shoulders.
Well, I think we're losing our identity, as Africans when it comes to football, and it's because I think we are copying the Europeans a lot now. In Europe, they teach you how to play, while before in Africa, nobody teaches you how to play. You're gifted, with talent, and if you don't have that gift, you can't be a football player. But now we've started in a very young age to learn how to play, and this for me destroys that freedom of expression. That freedom to express yourself on the pitch is being taken away from us. And I think we should go back to what brought us success, what we identify as African players.
Absolutely.
And I think that's going back to the root. Try to play for the love of the game and not just see it as a profession. Because now what matters the most is the stats, how many kilometers you run, how many tackles, how many headers, and all that. But I think we are losing our culture, our love for the game, and I think it's a pity that we are copying the European way of playing now.
Was there ever a time or a coach that said to you, don't dribble, don't dribble?
Most of my career, but I never listened. Because you know why? You need to have an identity, and when you do it right, he will be out there, well done, well done, well done. But he told me not to dribble.
1 hour to this one. You know, when I say 1 hour to I say a problem child. That's the term that we use. I mean, we all love those, but unfortunately these days we don't see it happening as often. But if you can take me through your past, one of those games that said, I have arrived, one of the games that put you out there in the world to say, look at me.
Well, I think it was when I was in Frankfurt, and I scored this goal that created a wave all over Europe, and that was, for me, maybe my introduction to world football, and it was 1993, just before the World Cup in 1994.
That's a milestone, I must say. Any other question for the legend? Umbuzo, Ukona? Okay, let's go there to the gentleman there.
Sanbonan,
Nazo.
I can't even compose myself. I want to know, why did you dedicate your award to Victor Agbo, and how was it playing with him?
Well, I think sometimes you can help your brother, especially if they are struggling. And I think, well, that was my thought, and that was why I did that.
There you go. Siyabonga Mtakababage. Basically, guys, we're just about to wrap up in no time. But if you still have one question or two to ask, let's go with that side. Can you pass the mic to that side? We've got two questions, I think, there. Let's just take one quickly, and then we'll take it from there. Go, but the legend is here. But
Hi, Gigi. Nice to see you. Sean Bartlett played for Bolton. I just want to know, was he there before you? Were you in the same team, or he came after you? I just want to know that, because I know that he played for Bolton. I think it was mid-90s.
I think he played for Charlton. Yeah, and I played for Bolton, and we played against each other. And of course, I think he's a great ambassador of the game. Yeah, for me, he's a legend as well.
there you go. Thank you so much. Is there any other question before we close it? It's like West Ham and Tottenham.
Hello, Jay Jay. How are you? Unfortunately, I've only watched you on YouTube, and I never got to watch you live. But one thing I know is you have shared the changing room and the pitch with the great player like Ronaldinho. And watching football today, would you say who's better between Ronaldinho and Neymar? And one last question for the Premier League. Is Pep Guardiola better than, say, Alex Ferguson?
Yo.
He's just trying to make sure that he get me in trouble. And I think I'm better than Neymar and Ronaldinho.
Let's give it up for the legend, guys. Come on now.
And I think for Sir Alex Ferguson and Pep Guardiola, I think Sir Alex Ferguson was unbelievable during his time. And Pep, for me as well, is an exceptional coach in his time.
While the mic goes to the next one, but you played 124 games, right, for Bolton?
129.
129.
5 of those was very bad games.
Oh,
The
so
ones
you
that
only,
you forgot.
oh, there you go. I get this. But the number of goals scored, you are not much of a constant scorer, even though you played many games. But was it maybe the coaching that says step back, or maybe don't go much into the box? Technically so.
No, I was more of a player that gives assists than scoring goals. And I don't like scoring easy goals. So I always make sure that they are special.
He's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Where's the mic now? So we can just take 2 more questions or so. And mate, are you happy with what you're seeing in South Africa? All right, so there we go.
Sanbonani, Mr. Okocha, my question is one and it's straight. I wanted to know, in your lifespan of career in football, did you meet Maradona, the late Maradona, and the late Pele, Brazil? May their souls rest in peace. Thank you.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have met 2 of them. In fact, in 1994 World Cup, I played against Maradona.
Oh, yeah.
And I was telling them the story that it was after our game, Argentina against Nigeria, that he tested positive. And I was tested as well that day, So, yeah, I was lucky enough to have played against him and, of course, met both of them.
It must be a very big thing to play such a legend, against such a legend when you are one yourself. I mean, who doesn't know Maradona? I mean, the likes of Pele, the likes of yourself. I mean, the Nigerian squad, that whole squad. I mean, you guys were amazing. Looking at now the next question, do we have one more question? Let's go. Let's keep the mic going, guys.
Oh, Jay Jay Okocha. 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 Here, and I'm a Mamelodi Sundowns fan. I just wanted to ask you 2 quick questions. The first one is, how was your experience working with Sam Allardyce since he's raving about you being the greatest player in the African continent to ever grace the Premier League? And then the second quick question is about Mamelodi Sundowns, the greatest team in Africa. What are your thoughts against the game, about the game against the game that we're going to play against Esperance on the 26th at Loftus 7:30? Thank you.
Good PR for your game. Good PR for your game, eh? You're riding the wave, I see.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong in promoting our own. I'm a big fan of PSL as well. It's a great league, and it's good to see that we have a very organized league in our continent as well. In as much as we're promoting Premier League, I think we should be promoting our own as well. Yes, I had a great time with Sam Allardyce. even though at the beginning I struggled to understand his football philosophy because he was all about direct football. But later on, I think he changed a bit because we started bringing in better quality players in the team, and then he had to accept that sometimes we need to play possession football as well, which worked very well for us. And the next game of Mamelodi Sundowns, I think they lost 1-0 in the first leg, to show you that I'm following it. But I think, of course, we know that they've got home advantage now. They've got every right to turn it around. And I can only say that I wish them all the best, and hopefully result will go their own way.
There you go. Let's give him a round of applause as well, ladies and gentlemen. Jay, touching on to our own continental football as well, the dominance of North African football seems to be fading a bit. I mean, if you can check your Zamaleks, your Al Alis, yes, they're still in the last four now, Al Ali, but this time Esperance has joined them as well. West African and Southern African football seems to be lacking in terms of that, because if you can check, Al Ali has got more trophies than anyone when it comes to the continental football. What makes it so different moving from Africa, from the north to the west to the east to the south?
Well, I think what they've done better is they have better infrastructures and they have better structure when it comes to grassroots football. And this is what you've gotten right here, you know, because you've got good infrastructures. Yeah, and you've invested in your league, and automatically that the results are coming, you know. So in West Africa, I don't think that our leagues are good enough to challenge the North Africans, and that's why it looks like they are on top of us when it comes to the continental matches here in Africa.
And Morocco is one of those countries that have grown so much. I think we can learn a lot from them. But is there any other question for the legend? There you go. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Jay Jay, my name is Justice. Well, I was fortunate enough to watch you live in UK. I've been there from 1994 to 2010. My question, it's continental question, is that so much of you've played football into the highest level. But in terms of development, our continent hasn't developed up to today. And we've got the whole bunch of you great players who are not participating in the development of our leagues and our youth. What is the problem with us as a continent? Direct question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's an important question. And I have to be straightforward also with my answer. I think football in Africa is still very much in the hands of politicians, you know, and if we look at countries that have been successful in football have got nothing to do with politics, you know, but here in Africa, we use football as a political tool. And then you have people that are not qualified managing our football, you know, so their drive can never be the same as somebody that have played the game. The passion we have for the game can never be the same, you know, and I think this is the core problem of football in Africa.
Thank you so much for the question. Let's give him a round of applause. I mean, looking at the development of, I cannot stay away from Manchester City. A young man, Phil Foden, is their product there. And look at him now. His name is everywhere. He's doing great for the club. The development of young talent in Africa, how far do you think we are from us seeing where we can say, Club so-and-so has produced this player, now he's in the national team, eventually he goes over and plays in Europe?
Well, I think we're still very far from identifying, you know, our young, talented players here in Africa, because once they are like 17, 18, you know, the next step will be to go abroad, you know, to go to where they have really bright future. And I think until we get our structure right in Africa, in making sure that our players have that sense of belonging and that they feel like they have future playing their football here in Africa, I think we'll keep struggling, to identify who or to nurture our young players to play to their best or to their maximum potential. It's because of the development program that they have abroad that makes it possible for people like Foden, for example, Saka is another one, to come to the fold at young age. And this is what we are lacking here.
I watched him last night. We stay up due to time difference. South Africa and Europe, we end up having to go to bed at 2 a.m. watching football, and we do that without fail. I'm sure those who follow football will know that we do that with so much passion. Other people wake up as early as 5 o'clock to go to work, but they stay up until 2 o'clock watching football, the English football. Isn't that a big thing for us to have guys in Africa, that we can watch the biggest league in the world? I mean, at any time, whenever we can, the repeats are there. We just know each and everything about this league. And once again, thank you so much to Castrol for bringing this beautiful trophy to our shores. We're just going to have to indulge and take pictures. Any other questions before we go? There you go, my brother there.
Hi, JJ. My name is Mike Chauke. There was a game that I saw in the highlights. I don't know which team you were playing for. You dribbled the defense and you also dribbled the goalkeeper. How did you feel after that game?
Well, I think that was the goal that I said made me popular in Europe. Of course, I was over the moon that it worked out well. But I think I could still remember the coach then telling me after the game that had it been I missed that goal, that as long as he remains the coach of the team, that I will never play. So I am still grateful, that everything went according to plan.
We thank God for that. Thank you for that question, my brother. It's such a beautiful one. I must say, when you're talking to legends like this, they've got so many memories in their archives and they really don't have to juggle that fight. It tells you that he lives, eats, dreams, wears, talks football. That is why we're here. But guys, for those of you who still have questions, I'm sure we can wrap it up nicely with 2 more questions. Kaso why nga blablis changan lokumbutisa? Njoni na. Oh, Munlo. All right, guys, we're just about to wrap it up. Any other question from this side? No question? This is the only chance you've got. Okay, my brother, let's go. My
name is Gordon Kumbo, Mr. Jay Jay Okocha. So I want to ask you, how do you cope about the temperature of Europe in Arctic cycle while we are the African play?
Well, I don't think we have a choice, When you're in Europe, if you have to play during winter, I mean, as an African, at the beginning, it wasn't easy. But you realize that you have no choice. You just have to make sure that you wrap yourself up very well. Sometimes I used to rub deep heat, behind the scenes so that they won't say that I'm trying to keep warm, But, I mean, you don't really have a choice. You have to play through it. But we always say that that's when you earn your money. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Yeah, I mean, round of applause to you, bro, for your question. We appreciate it. I mean, one of the biggest challenges we have in South Africa, Jay, is that our players go and play abroad, that they come back maybe after one season and said, I'm not coping with the temperature, I'm homesick. In South Africa, I get paid as much, I might as well come back home. What's your take on that?
Well, I think that's where I have an issue with South African players. I don't think that they have enough drive, to go and challenge themselves. They are happy being in their comfort zone. But I think if you want to prove that you're the best or one of the best, you have to take up that challenge, to compete in the best leagues in the world. And I think they have enough talent to do that, but it's just about their mentality.
Khumbula wena mnikazi wemoto ke ukuthi ke whatever that you do, always ask for Castrol whenever you need to lubricate some parts in your engine. It does a great job. I tell you, one of my oldest cars, the mechanic refuses to use any other oil except magnetic. He says, use it. It's good for this old car. Anyway, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we're talking to the legend. His name is Jay Jay Okocha, formerly with the Super Eagles. If you don't know your football, he is the encyclopedia of African football. He does it with ease. He knows anything and everything about football of the continent. You heard him talking about Sundowns. You heard him talking about the PSL. You heard him talking about the West African, North African, East African, South African football. What more would you ask for? He's the man to go to. Are you on social media?
Yes, I am, but I'm not aggressive on social media.
I'm sure you need to lubricate that and you need to pour some Castrol on it, right?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And then it can be smooth like you.
Yeah, but I think I'm a bit of old school because I believe if I give away everything on social media, what's left?
They wouldn't come here and look at you like this, right?
Exactly.
And let's give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. They came all the way to see the legend here. I think right now we'll go back and have photo opportunities with the legend. But for those of you who still want to ask questions, mangivale manje ivale mfana angisayingeni indaba yokuthi sibuyele movie. One question there. The guys who sang, where are they? The guys who sang, it's you guys, right? I'm sure you're going to have that picture with the legend, right? I'm definitely sure that you're going to have that picture with the legend. Let's pass the mic on to the guys. One question right there at the back, and then we go back once again. But the love that you're getting here, bruh, it's just one of those where you feel appreciated at home. But I can tell you now, it's more in Europe.
No, I don't think so. I mean, here is where the heart is. In Europe sometimes, yeah, they show you love, but it feels a bit more like work. But here is where the heart is. Here I feel like I can really touch lives. In Europe, you're one of, because they have to promote their own as well. But here you feel that real, genuine love.
Real, genuine love. Let's get this man a house here in Soweto. Then he can stay here. If we cannot find a house for him, we'll build him a back room, right? Then he can stay in my house at the back, right? Then you guys will have to come through me to see him, right? We've got a deal. There we go. Let's have a question there at the back.
Hola, JJ.
Hola.
I think you are by far one of the most skillful players ever to exist in this world. Robbed to be born this other side of the world. I just want to ask you a question because your era of players was by far one of the greatest Nigerian team that we've ever seen. And even to date, I still ask myself, why didn't you win the World Cup? Was there any political interference or anyhow? Please share something that you've never shared before.
Well, I have to be careful. Well, yeah, at some point, but I won't say that was the reason why I didn't win the World Cup, but maybe it was one of the reasons why I didn't play more African Cup of Nations. I remember 1996, the African Cup of Nations was hosted here. And because of political reasons, we couldn't come to defend our trophy. And because of that, 1998 also, we were not allowed to take part because we refused to come to South Africa and play in 1996. So I missed 2 African Nations Cup because of political reasons. So yeah, but that was not the reason why we didn't win the World Cup.
For me as a football journalist, whenever I touch base with either a Nigerian fan or maybe a Nigerian former player, that comes out all the time. That you guys won it because we were not there.
100%. You know, because we were the defending champion.
I remember quite well, yeah.
And then that era, I would say till now, have been the best we've had. We went and won the Olympics with the same team in 1996.
Yeah.
And if we could win Olympics in 1996, I think we had a chance, you know, of causing an upset, you know. But I would say that maybe, you know, blessing in disguise that we didn't come, so we remain friends.
Yeah, we definitely we are friends. Anyone else with a question? But before we go to the question, I just want to give you a quick assignment. Now that we're here, now that you spoke about that, I mean, rest in peace, to the guys that have departed from that squad. But from that, I mean, like Stephen Keshi, he was so loved in South Africa. May his soul rest in peace. From that squad, just give us 18 of your players that you played with, if you can still remember them. Baba Yaro, Babangita, Kanu, all of them. Let's hear them.
Why 18? That's been mean. Why 18?
Okay, you want to make it 25.
Okay,
Give us the whole 23 then.
Okay, I'll try. I'll start with goalkeeper Peter Rufai.
Yeah.
We had Aloy Ago. We had Ike Shoromu. Augustine Guavon. Stephen Keshi.
Yeah.
Uche Okechukwu. Uche Okafor. Ben Iroha. Celestine Babayaro. Taribo West, Sondo Lise, Kanu Wankwo, Rashidi Yekini, Finidi George.
What?
Of course, me.
Oh yeah. Of
How
course.
many have we got now?
Just, you can even leave it at that. How many?
Daniel Omokachi as well. Samson Siasia.
Yeah. How many nets did Rashid Yegini bite? I mean, that man. Any one of you know Rashid Yegini? How many nets did he damage? I mean, that guy would just run into the net and grab it and chew it and all of that. What did you give that guy? Just to take me back.
No, I think we used to say that he was a goal machine. You know, he wasn't skillful, but I mean, you don't want to give him an opportunity. You know, he was so prolific, you know, in finishing, and he scored so many games. Even when we were playing bad, you know, if you can just kick the ball up to him, and he will do the rest, because he was quick, he was strong, he could shoot, and he was an unbelievable striker.
Yeah, you also mentioned the colorful Taribo West. I mean, he's one of those. Let's have one more question. Where's the mic? We just wrap it up now. One more question here.
Hello. Hi, Mr. Okocha. Hi, Mr. Okocha. How you doing? Hi, Jay Jay.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, my name is Tanda Klele. Okay, I'll start here. 1994, you guys came up with the best team that ever came out of Nigeria. You just mentioned the likes of Sunday Olis, Jay Jay Okocha, Samson Babayaro. And then 96, we came up with a very pool of players who won the AFCON. We didn't have a chance to defend it. Then after that, we won the AFCON after lifted in 96. There were allegations coming out of Nigeria said, you guys, you're not happy because you're not there to defend the trophy. Now, I want your personal opinion based on the championship that we won in 96, because you didn't see us as the champions because you were not there. Now, can you tell me, sitting right there, did you see South Africa's champions in 96? Hence, you didn't defend it yourself.
I mean, I won't take away your credit. You know, you were the champions in 1996. We're just saying that we were not happy that we didn't take part. You know, and we fancied our chances. And that was it. You know, it's not like we don't respect you as champions. You were champions in 1996, and nobody can take it away from you.
All right, there you go. We just have gonna have to have one more question.
over
There you
here.
go. Oh yeah.
Afternoon, JJ. My question's a little bit embarrassing to ask in front of everybody, but I need the opinion of somebody who's played in the Premier League. As a Manchester United fan, when do you think we will ever lift that trophy again?
Well, I don't know. I think every team goes through a bad phase, and that's what you're going through now. And hopefully that will end quicker than you guys believe, because it's like you've given up hope.